Hello friends, Devilito here is back. I'm looking pretty beautiful today. Oh look. Um Today we're gonna talk about the Pinctada Mar-Garita Ferata. Guess who that is? Well, if you want to know what that has to do with the Bible, stay with me for a couple of minutes. As you will recall, many people take the Bible writing in its literal form. But if you read the parables of Jesus, Jesus taught through stories, through symbols, metaphors, okay? And he did that for many reasons, and one of them was because the authorities, religious authorities of the time, were spying on him. And they used everything that he said against him. And so he had to be, very wise and careful about what he taught. So he taught in parables, and that's why he said, like, to whoever who has ears and whoever has eyes and understanding. Um, Basically, he was opening the eyes of the people, letting them know what was going on. The brainwashing with the religious system, the oppression, and the colluding of the Jewish elite of the time with the Roman Empire. It was a real bad combination for everybody. In Matthew 13:45-46, Jesus speaks of the pearl of great price or great value, and how someone gives up all the riches of this world to go after that pearl. What many people today fail to understand in this parable is that he was not only referring to a literal pearl, or as some prefer to interpret the kingdom of God, but in order to understand this better, we need to remember that Jesus held the divine feminine in high esteem as a pearl would be. Let us remember that a pearl is feminine, and through an alchemical process that takes place in the dark recesses of an oyster, a parasite becomes eventually, through time and much discomfort for the oyster, a beautiful pearl. And the pearl represents basically the process through which the pearl comes about, represents the alchemical process that so many people talk about, like converting lead into gold. And so it was with Mary Magdalene, from who was Jesus' main disciple and the wisest of them all. She was not only beautiful, a beautiful pearl, but she was formed through many trials and tribulations. Okay? And she came out of those trials and tribulations, learning and growing into a wise pearl and a follower of wisdom of the Christ, fashioning herself into that pearl in a world that was masculine centered and patriarchal. Now, Jesus rendered the female principle equal to the male principle. That is a very important point. Remember that Jesus held the female principle in equality to the male principle. The fact that Mary Magdalene was the disciple of disciples and she was the right hand of Jesus was Jesus' way of showing the people that the female also is equal to the male. Okay? And in Jesus, we see the divine masculine manifesting in wisdom, and in Mary Magdalene, we see the same thing manifesting, the wisdom manifesting in the female. She represented the divine Sophia. And so here we come, the controversy begins because Mary Magdalene was ahead of her time. She was not only a strong tower, which is what Migdal means. She was also the wisest one, and she was more intelligent and wiser than the rabbis of the time, okay? So they started feeling envy towards her because she was a woman and she had a head on her shoulders, unlike them. And so they started persecuting her, and Jesus basically turned her into the first female rabbi of the times, something unheard of, and that's another reason why he was persecuted. It was indeed wonderful for Jesus to have found such a hidden pearl in his followers. So bright was Mary Magdalene that, according to the Gospel of Mary Magdalene, Jesus revealed to her many secret teachings that he kept from the other male disciples, as she was able to get it to understand what the other disciples could not. She was bright, so bright that, according to the Gospel of Peter, she not only earned the respect of some of the male disciples, but she also incurred the jealousy and anger of others, such as Peter, whom wondered why Master Jesus treated her with so much respect and consideration, being herself a woman. This is part one of Pinctada, Mar-Garita, Ferata, and I will explain in part two what Pinctada, Mar-Garita, Ferata has to do with Mary Magdalene. Thank you.